about it. Ship got the floor wide open if you got questions about it. Man, it's the show that brings you to your raw. To solve all problems, it starts with real talk. Real talk. It's 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 real talk. Yeah. Welcome to Real Talk with your host, Chip Washington. It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk. Hey.
And here we go on this Monday evening. It is the 11th day of December 2023, 6 p.m. straight up, which means it is time for another edition of Real Talk Memphis. Great to be here. Great to be back in the air chair after a week. Great to be with you all out there as well. I hope you've been doing well since last time we communicated about 7 days or so ago. It's cool outside. Well, actually, to me, it's cold outside. It was in the 40s yesterday. Wind chills in the 30s most of the day, and today was in the low 50s. But boy, and that sun went down, man. It is chilly outside here at Crosstown Concourse. But we're glad to have you with us, and we hope that you stick with us for the next hour or so. We have a very good broadcast for you, and we wave to you from the camera. How you doing? You were trying to figure out where I'm at. That's my big head right behind that console, back there right under the WYXR sign. So we're all fired up. We're here. We are ready to go. We have another great broadcast for you. By the way, this is the second to last broadcast of 2023. Next week will be our last show of the year. The following, of course, Monday is Christmas Day. And the following Monday after that is New Year's Day. We will be back in full tote, hopefully, in 2024 on, I think it's the 8th day. I want to say January 8th of 2024. So this is the second to last broadcast, and we're going to try to go out with a bang, as they say. Tonight's guest, I think we are doing pretty well with the guest list this evening. We hope you think so as well. Rhonda Logan. City Councilwoman, District 1, will be joining us in just a few minutes to talk about all things city and city council. They have a lot on their plate. Rhonda is actually going to be in her second 4-year term come January of next year. She will have several new colleagues with her on the council. Of course, they made some pretty consequential decisions of late, including the 12% rate hike from MLGW. So we'll talk a little bit about that and this crime and how we move forward in 2024. A little bit later on, it's that time of year, the sneezing, the sniffles, the cough, blowing the nose, the whole 9 yards. We're starting to see folks getting sick as a result of the seasons changing, folks shifting their attention to indoors, a lot of germs floating around out there. We have RSV, which is a respiratory disease. We have the flu, and we have cases of COVID as well. I've invited our good friend, Dr. Steve Threlkeld, to come on the show tonight. He's an infectious disease specialist out of the Baptist Medical Group, and he's going to give us an update on where we stand in all of this. And a bit later on, we're going to be talking with Trevia Chatman, and Trevia is the president of Bank of America Memphis. And, of course, they do a lot of work in our community. We had a guest on last week that was a recipient for Dress for Success. Their organization received a $50,000 grant from Bank of America Memphis, and we're going to talk a little bit about that with Trevia and why it is so important for them to be so engaged in our community. But before we get into all of that, right about now, it is time that we shout you out. Many of you may be having birthdays. You had birthday over the weekend. They're celebrated today. Or you have one next week. Not next week, this week actually. But in any event, if you want to celebrate you, we want to celebrate you as well with our birthday shout out, coast to coast, wherever you are out there. And we can't do that until I say, hit it, Brent. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Going out to the following. Ryan Poe over at the Chamber, celebrating a birthday today. Tamika Gibson, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Nicole Jones Kimball. Brooklyn Huggins, celebrating today is Kimberly Tate. LaMarcus Marshall, celebrating his birthday today. Happy birthday, Timothy Harris, Kristen Talent, LaTanya Lane Gross, and former local weathercaster / meteorologist Bailey Melton, celebrating his birthday today as well. And as Lola has not rushed up to the microphone, I guess she doesn't have any birthdays today. But from all of us here at Real Talk Memphis, we want to wish you a very happy birthday. We want to wish you love and laughter and joy on this day. And we hope to be around next year to celebrate your next trip around the sun. Thank you, Brandon. All right. It's always fun to do that. People like to hear their names, celebrating another day, another year on this earth. Few news and notes now. The investigation continues into how a 4-year-old child got a hold of a gun yesterday, which cost him his life from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It happened yesterday afternoon at a residence in the 4100 block of Bonatera Street. Have not heard any more about that particular incident. It was a little boy, who apparently found a weapon. Now, with everything else that is going on out here at breakneck speed, you wonder how things like this continue to happen. Where a child is able to find a weapon that apparently was loaded, and we see tragic consequences from that. I'm sure we'll learn more as the police continue their investigation into exactly how all this happened. We have seen more gunshot victims under the age of 18 this year than we've seen in the last couple of years. Those numbers continue to mount as we continue to see gun violence repeat itself over and over again. So very sad case there. 6 people dead and 24 injured after an EF3 tornado ripped through Montgomery County, just north of Nashville. That's near the Kentucky state line over the weekend. And 3 people, 3 of those 6 died in a neighborhood just north of downtown Nashville. So, I got to thinking about, we hadn't had a storm like that blow through here in a minute over the weekend. Folks in northwest Mississippi, DeSoto County, down around Tunica County, got hit really hard with some of these storms that came roaring through. And I started to wonder, what's going to happen as winter, which begins officially on December 21st, how all that is going to impact us as we're still trying to deal with the mechanics of MLGW in terms of the infrastructure. The president, Doug McGowan, said, well, we're a lot more prepared this year, or we'll be a lot more prepared next year than we have been earlier this year when we saw those wallop storms come blowing through and caused us all a lot of headaches and heartaches. But it makes you think about what we're going to face and how bad a winter we are going to have as we enter into 2024. We shall see. Christian Brothers University is closing a dozen programs while also eliminating 28 faculty positions. All of this is a case of restructuring to cut costs at that school. So a lot of folks who had positions over there are no longer employed at Christian Brothers University. They're trying to eliminate a budget deficit of up to $7 million, which will obviously keep the doors open there. A lot of the programs will still be in effect. This won't affect folks who are in classes now who are seniors, who are scheduled to graduate in the spring of 2024. But this will have some lasting ramifications for them because they're in such big debt. This because of people not registering for classes. The attendance numbers have been dramatically cut in terms of the enrollment numbers there. So when you don't have the people and you don't have the money it costs to go to school these days, it is going to reflect itself in one way or another. And unfortunately, it has at Christian Brothers University. So we'll keep on top of that and see how all that plays out. And finally, in basketball, the University of Memphis had a big game last night, big victory last night. They beat Texas A&M, which is a highly ranked school, 81-75. So, they're off to a pretty decent start. They have a pretty decent team this year. We'll see how things shake out as time continues to move forward. Of course, the University of Memphis Tigers football team will be playing in the Liberty Bowl this year, right here in their own backyard. No traveling, except to get on a bus from school to the football stadium, which is not that far. And they were, somebody on Facebook line, Denise, go Tigers, go. Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's for the basketball too, right? Yeah, I got it. So they will be playing, I want to say it's Iowa State. And that will be on the 28th or 29th of December here, another couple of weeks ago or so, as the bowl season gets underway. So that's about it for news and notes on this Monday evening. We are going to take our first commercial break. And when we come back, we will get into some conversation. We will be talking with our good friend and City Councilwoman Rhonda Logan as we leave one year and enter into another. Very happy to have you with us this evening. I'm Chip. You know who you are. We're going to take our first break of the night, and we'll be right back. Hope you come back with us.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Support for WYXR comes from the Orpheum Theater, presenting The Illusionist, Magic of the Holidays, happening December 28th and 29th. The Illusionist is a magic show for all ages, direct from Broadway. More information at orpheum-memphis.com.
Located on the second floor of the Crosstown Concourse, the Memphis Listening Lab is a curated collection of music and music history that is open to the public 6 days a week. Vinyl Happy Hour happens every Friday between 3 and 5 p.m., where guest DJs from around the community will spin some of their favorite records. More information and a complete listing of upcoming events at memphislisteninglab.org.
WYXR is supported by Mempho, presenting Daniel Donato's Cosmic Country with Eggy at Rail Garden on Wednesday, December 13th. Ticket information and availability at memphopresents.com. Support for WYXR comes from the Orpheum Theater, presenting The Illusionist, Magic of the Holidays, happening December 28th and 29th. The Illusionist is a magic show for all ages, direct from Broadway. More information at orpheum-memphis.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this chilly Monday evening in the city. Chip here, glad to have you with us as well. And always glad to have an old friend of the program here, someone who is dedicated to helping to make our city and our community better. Rhonda Logan is the city councilwoman representing District 1, and she joins us on the broadcast this evening. Rhonda, it's great to see you. How are you?
I am well. I'm well. Thank you so much for having me. It's good to see you again. It's always a pleasure being here. It's like coming home. I remember the first time I came on, you were so welcoming, and I really appreciate that. So anytime you ask me to come, I'm always here.
Well, bless you. I appreciate that as well. So, Rhonda, I think it's safe to say for all of us, this has been quite the challenging year. In so many ways, as we prepare to leave 2023 and enter into 2024. Now, you were reelected to your seat. You'll be serving your second 4-year term, but you will have quite a few new colleagues joining you on the city council. And this is the most women in the history, from what I understand, in the history of the mayor council government. This is the most females ever at 7. Am I correct in that?
Absolutely, yes. You're right.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that?
I'm excited about it. I'm hopeful. I'm prayerful. I'm enthusiastic because I think there's going to be a sensitivity to concerns and another viewpoint, because where we are right now, there needs to be tough love, but there also needs to be compassion, a level of sensibility and sensitivity. So I think we have an opportunity here with the women and the guys that are there. They're going to balance us out, and so I think we have some good days ahead. Let me put it like that.
The current group that is there, you have one more meeting together, as the body that you are now before things change over on January 1st. How would you say things have gone with the current body or the soon to be several outgoing members? But in terms of this particular group that is still together right now, how would you assess yourself as a body? Would you say?
We came in 2020. We were installed in January of 2020. We came in, did some training, and then went to Washington for training. While we were in Washington, the country shut down. Mm-hmm. So for a year and a half, almost 2 years, we were doing, COVID legislation, COVID everything. And so we really became very close. We came from different vantage points, but I think through over the past 4 years, we've really grown closer and to understand each other and the needs of our city. We were there to lead our city through COVID, through Tyree Nichols, through a lot of things that went on in our country. And I think what everybody brought, their giftings and their talents, their skills and their experience and their training, it was the right mix for the time in which we have been in. And I think, we held it steady. We had to make some tough decisions, and I'm going to miss, the ones that are leaving. They had a history and gave us a balance. Some of us were very new to politics, mm-hmm. and so those that are leaving, they helped us in that way, gave us, a quick, fast lesson in politics, but yet they also allowed us to be individuals and to bring to the table what we brought. So, I think we did well. I think we were in place for a time such as that to do what we needed to do. Now we're moving into a new season, moving in our country to a new place, and it calls for a new mindset.
We've all talked about it. It's almost ad nauseum about the crime in our city. We broke another homicide record this year, and in many instances, many folks would say that crime is out of control in our city. That is probably, I would imagine, job one. But let me, if I can, let me go back to the last city council meeting, because there were a couple of decisions. Well, one decision that was made, and one is coming up. MLGW asked for a 12% rate hike over the next 3 years. And as a body, the city council approved that. You voted for it as well. Did you have any thought to, was that a difficult decision for you because of the economic challenges that we face in our city, which so many of us face in our city? Even a few dollars is tough. So was that a tough decision for you to make to go ahead and vote for that rate hike?
It was only because of the concerns that were raised. But what I did know is that it was more concerning to hear the stories of grandmothers and single moms and working families that had to be out of power for weeks on end, lost their food, had to stay in hotels or go stay with relatives, had damage to their homes that they couldn't pay for because of falling trees. Had to be off work for a number of times, a number of days, weeks even. Those businesses that had to close, that lost business. When you think about beauticians and barbers and different ones. So, you have to look at it from both ways, because people were crying and upset and angry with the power out, and rightly so. And it's so cold, and they're predicting a colder winter this winter. And once the lights come back on, people forget all of the issues they had with no power. And so that was top of mind for me, because I did a number of water giveaways. I did a lot to try to find resources for my constituents during the time that they were out. And so that was top of mind. And another thing I thought about was the fact that, there's so many things that at play. A lot of times the bills that we have, it involves, so there are a lot of things on the bill. People just think the bill. But when you think about energy and water and gas, we're the lowest in the country with those, and with all three public utilities. And I know people say, they don't really think about that when they get the bill. But the problem I see is the energy burden, is the lack of resources to pay the bill. And that's where my attention will be focused, in leaning into businesses, leaning into TVA, leaning into MLGNW to create ways to assist, whether that's weatherization, whether that's affordable housing, more funding to MIFA and helping people with the bill.
Right.
But to ensure we have infrastructure, to ensure we have adequate staffing, to ensure we have the paving and the tree cutting, the things needed to keep us from having power outages. That's why I voted.
Where's your confidence level in terms of MLGW? Do you feel, Doug has been before you, Doug McGowan, who's the president over there, has been before you several times and said that he feels as an organization they're better suited to handle the winter months, coming up into next year versus what we dealt with this year. Are you confident in that based on what you know and what you've heard?
I'm confident in the ability of the staff to do it. And I'm confident that we as a body will keep them accountable. It's more incumbent upon us to keep them accountable and to make sure that they're reporting and that they're doing what they said they would do. One thing that I asked for is because throughout when President Young was there, as well as President McGowan, the number one thing for power outage or cause for power outage was trees. Both of them said that. And so and if you go back and listen to the meetings, I have pushed for that and kept that before them and made certain that they understood that was the priority. And so one thing that President McGowan did do was he added more crews and added a more robust program to cut the trees. especially I know that to be true in my district, Fraser, Raleigh, and Cordova. We have trees everywhere, and the transformers were hopping in the trees, and it was just a mess. Fires and tearing up people's homes and yards and all of that. So one thing he did, he's kept his word up to this point. Even when he was here as CAO, he kept his word. And I asked at the last meeting prior was to all the attention and priority should be on tree trimming. So he added another crew, and talking with the union, they had some concerns regarding tree trimming. And so we added a crew in-house that's going to be spearheaded by the union, and so I was excited about that because those are going to be jobs for citizens. Okay. And it's in-house. So I'm very confident in, like I said, in his ability and the team's ability, as well as us holding them accountable.
As we talked about, the crime issue is top of mind for everybody. We're going to have a brand new administration come January 1st. We have a new mayor-elect, Paul Young. Obviously, you as a body will be working very close with the mayor in terms of trying to come up with ways that we can at least slow down what seems to be an escalation in crime. How confident are you as we move forward into a new year, Rhonda, that we can really focus in on some of the root causes of what we're dealing with on a daily basis?
I'm very confident. I knew, had a working relationship with Mayor-elect Young prior to him becoming mayor-elect, when he was working with housing and community development. Then he went to downtown Memphis Commission, as now he is the mayor-elect. I've known his family prior to. His father's the pastor, and know my father very well. So he's a person of integrity, and he's worked very hard in what he's done at every level. And he has a heart for the people and knows the condition of the community. He's very aware and very compassionate as it relates to the condition of the community, and has great ideas on how to move us forward. And as it relates to crime, I think he is prepared. He understands it's a tough decision. He's ready to make the tough. It's a tough topic to tackle, issue to tackle, but he's ready to make those tough decisions. And he has my full support. All of us, I would hope, would get behind him and give him our full support and the opportunity to do what he feels needs to be done. But I'm very confident that he'll listen. I'm very confident that he won't make hasty decisions to make a name for himself.
Right.
Because it's a calling. It's a greater calling than just an election.
Well, listen, I really appreciate your time. I know how busy you are, but you're always very gracious. When we try to reach out to you, and you're always very honest in your assessments and your answers, about some of the issues that we're dealing with. I really appreciate you. And listen, before I go, I want to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and I look forward to spending some more time with you in 2024 as we continue moving forward in the city. Thank you for coming on tonight. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm looking forward to coming back to talk about some lower level initiatives as it relates to crime. Absolutely that. Well, I look forward to that as well. You take care of yourself, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Take care. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Councilwoman Rhonda Logan, ladies and gentlemen, District 1, and, she's ready to hit it. Man, look, 2024 is right around the corner, and she's going to be serving her second term in the city council. She's going to be a senior member out there, and I know she'll do a fantastic job. We'll take another break, and when we come back, we're going to shift gears to health. Your health, my health, and all of our health. We're going to talk a little bit about what is happening out here in terms of what we need to watch out for with our good friend, Dr. Steve Threlkeld. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
S1E146 is proud to support WYXR. Located in the central atrium on the first floor of Crosstown Concourse, S1E146 serves plant-based cheeses, all handcrafted on site. S1E146's Wine and Cheese Cafe is open every Wednesday through Sunday evening at 3 p.m. More information at s1e146.com.
Hey, I'm Will from Crosstown Brewing Company. We support WYXR 91.7 FM. A favorite beer is just like a favorite song. We feel something new every time we encounter them. Cheers to playing the hits and tasting the notes.
Bassberry Sims is proud to support WYXR, celebrating over 100 years of dedication to diversity, equity, and inclusion in leading clients through legal challenges. More information at bassberry.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. Chip with you. And, of course, this is the time of year when our health antennas start to come up a little bit, primarily because many of us are starting to get sick. You know, we're into the late fall and getting ready for winter. And so, anytime something like this happens, I want to always check in with our medical expert. He is Dr. Steve Threlkeld. And he is the infectious disease chief or director of the Baptist Memorial Group, Baptist Memorial Hospital. What is it? What's the rest of it?
Baptist Memorial Healthcare.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, what he just said. Baptist Memorial Healthcare. And it's always great to see you, Dr. Steve. And thanks for coming on the show tonight. So, we're in this time, right, where the seasons have changed, and it's remarkably cold outside, and a lot of folks are starting to get sick. I'm to understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that the cases of the flu are starting to rise a bit, and we have that in combination with RSV, and even COVID is still around. So tell us where we are and what we need to be paying attention to.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me again. It's great to be with you, Chip. We're in that time, as you say, that we're kind of in the crosshairs of several things at once. And, the CDC, in measuring this stuff, tends to call it ILI, which stands for influenza-like illness. And that's respiratory congestion, cough, all those kind of things and it can't really test everybody. So it's kind of a global measurement of how sick we are. They do drill down and get individual numbers on the stuff. But in general, you're right. It's wintertime. We're inside. It's drier. We could have congregate together. We forget to wash our hands and scratch our noses, and all these things are going around. And if you look at flu itself, it's into the epidemic zone now, and we are particularly bad kind of in the South, which maybe it means we'll peak soonest, but we're seeing a lot of cases in the hospital. There's no question about it, and in clinics. So it's the kind of thing that you hope you've gotten your vaccine. Still get it if you hadn't, because this may last for a period of weeks now, to be sure.
Wow.
So you can protect yourself against it.
Yeah.
It takes about 2 to 3 weeks to really maximize the protection from that vaccine. So go ahead and get it, because you might not encounter it until a bit later in the season. COVID, as you say, up significantly. We've seen a number of cases in the hospital. Thankfully, it's not what it was in years past. We hope that it'll peak sometime in January and kind of filter out, but it's about 8 times more dangerous than the flu on average. So it's not to be trifled with, even as we've been through all this insanity for the last 3 years. And then, of course, as you mentioned, RSV, which thankfully seems to have peaked a bit now. It was kind of an early peak, not quite as bad as last year, but all three of those things, sometimes they can be difficult to tell the difference. But in general, the flu is a lot more significant and more severe than the common colds, which for adults, RSV usually works as. And COVID, as you know, is just a wild card. It can do so many different things. All of them do worse, though, in elderly folks with underlying medical problems. Those are the people who need to do the best they can to protect themselves. And then we need to do the right thing and protect those people, too.
And, and having said that, that elderly population, is very susceptible this time of year. At one point, we were talking about RSV and how it was starting to rise up, and it was affecting a lot of the seniors. I'll be honest with you, Steve. I had no idea that there was an RSV vaccine as well. Is it too late to get that, or are we still on par with that? Where's that at?
It's not. It's for those over 60. So it, like so many other things, really targets those people who are at the highest risk. Okay. The people who are 30, 40 seldom get terribly ill from RSV, but folks with underlying heart and lung problems, like so many other things, we've seen it so much with COVID, and we always see it with the flu. Those are the people who are going to be the most affected by it. So those are the people that the older somebody is and the more underlying medical problems they have, the more they have to gain by the vaccine. So the more I generally encourage them to take it. It's a new vaccine, so everybody always worries about new vaccine. The real world data that we have so far is that it's safe and pretty effective. We'll know more about the actual numbers and really tease them out in another 6 months or so. But for now, if you're a really high-risk person, it certainly makes sense along with the COVID and the flu vaccine.
We're talking about the flu, and you were talking about how it really is starting to pick. The last couple of years, and you and I have talked several times about this, and during the COVID period, we were masked up, most of the time. And so during that period of time, we did not see a lot of flu cases because we were masked and protected. Well, now, none of us deal with that anymore. But so this should not be a surprise to any of us that flu is up, that flu cases are up. Are you worried in terms of the numbers we might see this year going into next year?
Well, I think it's going to be high, no question. And yes, we didn't see much flu there for a couple, 3 years because the steps that you take to protect yourself against COVID are dramatically more effective against the flu. It prevents flu essentially altogether. But yeah, it's been a rebound now that people have kind of not masking and they get together and sort of forget about large groups and the like. And right now, for the next couple of weeks, it's important to get back to common sense. All the insanity and the disagreements and the politicization of COVID, we need to get back to common sense. If you're going to be around your elderly relatives at some point in the holidays, say Christmas, it's helpful to be careful for a few days before that, to have gotten your vaccine to prevent the illness as much as you can. If you're going to be really in a combined place, wearing a mask is really good against the flu. But try not to take those illnesses to people who are going to be the hardest hit by them. And unfortunately, this holiday season, the next couple of weeks, is when you get the most danger of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, so you and I have talked, several times offline, and when doctors and specialists like yourself look toward a particular season, you always look across the pond. It's always, what happens over in Europe and happens in other places. Are you seeing anything in particular, or have you seen anything of recent that gives you pause, or something that maybe we ought to look out for in particular?
Yeah, we've seen a parade of variants of COVID keep coming through. Thankfully, they've not been getting worse and worse, although they do get more mutated and very contagious, and we can just see those things kind of parading through. With the flu, a lot of times you look at the lower hemisphere where it's their winter before ours, and sometimes you can predict a season that way. The thing that always makes infectious disease doctors crazy and afraid is the avian flu, the bird flu that's been sort of careening around the world now for a couple of years or more, killing millions of birds. We think, well, that's bad, that's unfortunate, but occasionally those jump into other animals, foxes, other kind of mammals, and on rare occasions it can jump to people. That's what happened in 2009. Thankfully, it wasn't severe. But when this particular avian flu jumps into people, the H5N1, it has a 55% mortality rate.
Oh,
now,
that's big.
You think of something like COVID that kills more than half the people that it infects. Thankfully, it's not really established that ability to replicate in humans very efficiently. But if it ever gets that mutation, it'll be the kind of thing that really we've never seen, certainly in our lifetimes, and it would make COVID look like a small event. We hope that doesn't happen, but it certainly has done it before, 1918 and others. So that's the thing that kind of keeps me up at night in terms of the thing that's out there that we have to watch out for.
Oh, wow. Talking about COVID, and I know I've known several people, here in the recent past who are contracting COVID. And it seems to be now that is starting to become a bit of a thing. And you talked about the various forms of that it takes as a disease. Is the current strain of COVID? Is it fair to say that it is more like developing a bad cold, or can it be even worse than that?
Well, it spans the spectrum. There's no question. And there are those people, and remember, even back when so many people were dying, some young healthy people, some seemed sort of dose related, honestly, healthcare workers in New York, there were still people that were totally asymptomatic. Mm-hmm. So you still get the whole spectrum of disease, but it still affects things, as I mentioned, roughly 8 times worse than the flu, which kills 30,000 people per year in the United States on average.
Yeah.
And it just continues to do weird stuff. I mean, things like you and I have talked about before, the gentleman that I saw that had terrible stuttering and other neurologic things. Mm-hmm. And so COVID has just always had this unusual capacity to do some crazy things that we don't even fully understand, clotting things that we saw a lot of in the beginning. So it's still a disease that it's good to avoid it. I mean, to get your vaccine is helpful, not to keep yourself out of the highest risk kind of gatherings, particularly when it's at its peak right now through January, which it always does every year, still makes sense. You still don't want to get the thing.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I had to have you on because it just seems as if, we're getting into a category now of time of year where a lot of folks get sick. We don't want to get sick, but we're putting ourselves in those zones. And it's always good to have to be precautious. I did get my flu shot, as I do every year. I also got the COVID booster. And, of course, you've been recommending that for a while now. And it's still not too late to get either. Am I correct in that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And wash your hands, too. There's a lot of norovirus in the community right now. We've had several hospitalizations with severe nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. So the old stuff that your grandmother taught you still is effective at preventing some really nasty stuff.
Dr. Steve Threlkeld, infectious disease. He's a specialist. He's the director and over there at Baptist. And I always appreciate you. I'm always glad to be able to get you to give us the accurate information that we need. I want to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And you and I will be talking again in 2024. Guarantee that, my friend. Thank you so much.
You too, Chip, and everybody out there. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Dr. Steve Threlkeld, ladies and gentlemen. That is a face, and that is a man who will give it to you straight. And I really appreciate him, helping us out, especially this time of year. We're going to take our final break of the broadcast, and as we roll along here during this hour, we are going to shift gears and talk about community and what it means to a big corporation like Bank of America and how they do what they do to help others become successful. This is Real Talk Memphis. I am Chip. You know who you are. Let's take our final break of the broadcast, and we'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Anita Ward, here to tell you a bit about my alma mater, Rusk College, which supports the music of the Mid-South through its partnerships with WYXR. I've been known for singing since my days on campus, and I continue to sing Rusk College's praises. Did you know Rusk College offers 23-plus majors? 2 new ones will be implemented this fall: forensic science and religious studies. For more information on admissions, enrollment, and activities, visit ruskcollege.edu.
At WYXR, we are committed to uplifting local organizations and businesses who are making an impact in Memphis. If you are looking for ways to spread the word about your business on air and want to support WYXR at the same time, email us at sponsorships@wyxr.org.
SREMU is proud to support WYXR. Located in the central atrium on the first floor of Crosstown Concourse, SREMU serves plant-based cheeses, all handcrafted on site. SREMU's Wine and Cheese Cafe is open every Wednesday through Sunday evening at 3 p.m. More information at sremu.com. Barware is proud to support WYXR. Located on Front Street in downtown Memphis, Barware serves fresh and seasonally inspired menus every Tuesday through Saturday evening at 5 p.m. More information at barwarememphis.com. Almadel Jaguar is proud to support WYXR, a handcrafted tequila inspired by change and conservation. More information at almadeljaguar.com.
Whether you kickstart your weekends with Amanda on Finders Keepers, cure your Sunday scaries with Brandy on Putting on Airs, jet set across the globe with DJ Alpha Whiskey on Flight Risk, or spend your Saturday afternoons in the company of the one and only Pastor Ship on Gospel Talk back in the day. We thank you for listening to WYXR this year and supporting the 90-plus volunteers that make up this station. Elevate your radio experience and ensure these incredible volunteer DJs continue to soundtrack your days in 2024. Show your support by donating to WYXR today. Visit newyear.wyxr.org to contribute and make a difference as we enter the new year. For Memphis is proud to support WYXR. For Memphis Music presents the second annual Blue Christmas on December 9th at 7 p.m., featuring performances by Dale Watson, the Sensational Barnes Brothers, Pat Fusco, and more. All proceeds benefiting Church Health Center. Early bird ticket pricing now through November 17th. More details and tickets available at formemphis.com. WYXR is supported by Independent Bank, celebrating 25 years of sharing stories, building dreams, and serving heroically. More information regarding how iBank can help you achieve your financial dreams at i-bankonline.com. Member FDIC.
Church Health's Memphis Plan continues its decades-long commitment to serving local musicians with comprehensive health care and also tailors its focus to small business owners and the self-employed. Health care through the Memphis Plan provides care in Memphis for Memphians. Related services include preventative health, optometry, dental care, and more. More information regarding availability at memphisplan.org or at 901-272-PLAN.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. Chip with you. And, you know, if it weren't for the help of big-time corporations in this town, many organizations would not be as successful as they have become. And our next guest is someone who heads a major organization here in town, and they are a very strong community partner. Please welcome to the show, Trevia Chatman. She is the president of Bank of America Memphis. And Trevia, it's great to see you. And thanks for coming on the show tonight.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
So, you know, you first and foremost, how long have you been the president of Bank of America here in Memphis?
I am coming up on 2.5 years. It's been an exciting road with the bank.
I was gonna say, well, congratulations on that. Absolutely. And you're a very strong community partner who awards organizations that are doing positive things in our community. You have a program called Neighborhood Builders, Neighborhood Builders Program. Tell us a little bit about the Neighborhood Builders Program.
Absolutely. The Neighborhood Builders Program has been around, with Bank of America for a number of years. And here in Memphis, we are part of a group that did the Neighborhood Champion Award. The Neighborhood Champion program is a highly competitive, invitation-only program for nonprofits who are poised to take their work to the next level and deliver meaningful results in our community. Nonprofits are selected by a committee comprised of community leaders and past awardees, and we work together to really dive deep, to really think through who are the nonprofits that are doing impactful work, that are committed to diversity and inclusivity, who are really focused in on managing their budgets well, and who go deep and do work well here in the city of Memphis by advancing economic mobility and building up underserved neighborhoods right here in our city.
Now, last week, we had your most recent awardee, Dress to Success. You gave them a $50,000 grant for their work in what you just said, advancing economic mobility and building up underserved neighborhoods. What made you, what was it about that organization that impressed you enough to say, you know what, we need to help them build and grow even more in our community?
You know what, one of the things that I could think about with Dress for Success, and there's so many, it's really just thinking about how they've been able to go deep and do the work here in our city for over 20 years. They've been able to do this work in what we call a boutique budget, meaning that they know how to manage their money well and really support the needs of women right here in our city. They have been, really connected in how they do their work through some innovative programming. We were a part of their initial launch of a small business initiative that they started during the pandemic to support the needs of women that were really working to have their businesses to thrive. And they really wanted to support these ladies, and they were able to support over 30 businesses in doing this work, and able for them to, set up a vibrant business that's been able to survive and thrive throughout the pandemic. So there are a number of reasons. I mean, they have been fitting women, again, for over 20 years and helping them with their clothes to prepare for interviews and transition into the workspace. So it's just beautiful what it is that they do, and we are happy to support them.
Well, I had Rhonda Trevia on last week, and she was very, very happy, very excited about being given this gracious award. You touched on it at the top, though, but really, as a banking institution, the national banking institution, Bank of America, is it a very high priority? Do they place a high priority on giving back to the community? And I mean, in the way that you're doing it, this is no small potatoes, deal here. But I mean, it seems as if Bank of America as a corporation really understands the importance of investing in community. Would that be a fair statement to make?
Absolutely. Since 2004, Bank of America has invested more than $300 million in nearly 100 communities across the U.S. Yes. We've partnered with more than 1,600 nonprofits and helped more than 3,000 leaders strengthen their leadership skills through our Neighborhood Builder and Neighborhood Champions program. And that's what we've done across the country. Right here in Memphis, one of the things that I have had the opportunity and privilege to lead is the deployment of our dollars locally. This year, Bank of America has given over $1 million to 20 nonprofit organizations.
That's wonderful.
Including Dress for Success. Absolutely. And we do this work intentionally by supporting investments and creating opportunity for people in communities of color in areas of health, jobs, support for small business, affordable housing, community revitalization, and the arts. So, it's incumbent upon us to make sure that we stay connected to our community, trusting the experts that do impactful work, and supporting them and allowing them to create, to nurture, and empower our city. And we are very intentional about doing that work with our nonprofit partners.
As we about to turn the page from 23 to 24, I'm sure you're going to continue that work. Are there any particular initiatives that you are looking forward to or forward to launching in 2024?
One thing that I will say that has been really important for us is really working and staying connected to the work of our 4 pillars, again, healthcare, jobs, small business, affordable housing, art. And, heading into 2024, we're opening up our next RFP and, inviting nonprofit partners to, make their requests for their funds and what they want to support here in the community. But one thing that I am most proud of, out of all of our partners, again, we continue to do that work. One that sticks out in particular is going to be our partnership with the University of Memphis through our Fogelman College of Business and Economics program, where we are supporting students that are really working to change outcomes for their households. And we have launched that particular program in 2023. And we have 4 amazing students that are graduating from that program in May. And we'll be releasing our next application for our second cohort to go through that program. And it really focuses in on professional development for these students. It's focusing in on how they are connecting to internships and ultimately employment, because this is the work that we're doing to support our jobs pillar within the bank. So that is something that I'm excited about for 2024. Something else, right at the top of the year, we know that we're in the midst of the holiday season.
Sure.
And we have an exciting partnership that's underway that I would like to invite your listeners to.
Go.
So Bank of America is the proud presenting sponsor of Black American Portraits at the Memphis Brooks Museum. Chip, have you been to Black American Portraits at the Brooks?
I have not. I admit I have not.
Listen.
But I need to go.
I want you to come.
Okay.
You need to come.
All right.
It features more than 100 works, including paintings, photographs, sculptures, videos that amplify the Black American experience. And it is happening right now at the Brooks Museum, and it's running through January 7th.
Okay.
And again, I invite you and your listeners to come by. It is an experience. It is a cultural experience that people just can't miss.
Well, listen, since you have issued the invitation, I'm going to make my way to the Brooks Museum, and I'm going to, invite our listening audience to do that as well. Listen, this has been a treat. I was looking forward to talking with you, and more importantly, really congratulating you on the impact that you are making here in Memphis, in Shelby County, in our community for so many people. Really appreciate you. I wish you and your family a very happy Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I look forward to talking with you about anything. Look, anything happens in 2024 that you think we should know about around here. You're a friend now, so you can come back anytime you want to.
Well, I thank you for the invitation. We look forward to coming back to connecting with you again. Thank you. And happy holidays to you too, Chip.
Absolutely. Thank you, Trevia. Appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how you wrap a show. Trevia Chatman, president of Bank of America here in Memphis, doing big things in our community, and Lord knows we absolutely need it. It's been a great show. Thank you all for coming. And as Brett plays us out, really, again, we have one more show this year. Next week will be our last show of 2023, the last show of the year. And we're going to take a little time off to celebrate the holidays and enjoy the holidays with our families and friends. And we'll be back on January 8th. But we're not done yet. One more week, so don't abandon this quite yet. Listen, it's been a great show. I really enjoyed speaking with Rhonda Logan, Councilwoman Rhonda Logan, Dr. Steve Threlkeld, always great information from him, and Trevia Chatman, ladies and gentlemen, from Bank of America. She's the president of Bank of America here in Memphis. So as we prepare to get out of here, be safe, be careful out there, watch out for yourself, and watch out for other folks because they may not be watching out for you. And for Lola, for Brett, for Nicole, and for me, your humble host, Chip Washington. Thank you for being a part of what we do each and every week. And for all of us, we are out. See you soon.